Hello and welcome to my weekly look ahead video, and this week we're indoors rather than outdoors because of filthy weather. Now of course this week we commemorate the Holocaust with Holocaust Memorial Day, and I've just been signing the memorial book for all MPs to show their support for the survivors of the Holocaust and the ongoing work to remember the atrocities that happened under the Nazis and the Holocausts since, and specifically the 75th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz-Birkenau death camp, which I visited with some local students some years ago. Now, over the weekend, I joined a group of volunteers in Southwick Rec to plant some trees as part of a big tree planting exercise across the constituency. It was great to see young people turn up and help in that. It wasn't so great to hear that within 24 hours, some yobbos had gone and uprooted everything that we planted. I'm glad to say that Ada Council workers have been there to make the necessary repairs, but it is so frustrating when the good efforts and the goodwill of local volunteers just get trashed in such a mindless way. Anyway, back in Parliament, we've a busy week of legislation this week. We have the NHS funding bill, which will enshrine in law the record increases in NHS funding that were promised during the election. We're also doing the remaining stages of the direct payments to farmers bill, which is all about what's going to succeed subsidies post Brexit. We also have some legislation about increasing minimum sentences for serious offenders, where we had the scandals last year of very serious offenders being let out after just half of their sentence. Now that will be automatically increased to at least they have to serve 2/3 of their sentence, and I think most people will agree that that's absolutely just. We have debates from the opposition on both Home Affairs and homelessness later this week, which I hope to be taking part in. And there's also Westminster Hall debates on the issue of travellers and planning permission, which is an issue which we have had problems with in the past, and also around special educational needs funding. And again, I'm going to be hopefully taking part in those. I've got, as usual, a lot of other meetings, but in particular a meeting about children in care and also young people and mental health with some local charities. And I'm having dinner with the Chancellor of the Exchequer this week, along with a number of other colleagues, to discuss various suggestions we want to make for the budget coming up now on March the 11th or 12th, middle of March. On Friday, I'm going to be doing a special surgery at the Community House in East Worthing. If you live in East Worthing, want to come along and see me, I'll be there from 11 o'clock. And before that, I've got a meeting up the road in Brougham Road with the residents of Pearson's Retreat. Then I've got meetings in the afternoon with some interesting local companies who are dealing with air pollution and some creative ways of dealing with the real problem of air quality. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be both in Lancing and in Broadwater for most of the day. And finally, thank you very much to those people who responded to the piece I had in the Herald last week, and also in my newsletter. You can get further details on my website about my Make Britain Breakfast Again campaign to bring together people on both sides of the Brexit argument. I've been overwhelmed with the responses. I'm going to be arranging the first breakfast in a few weeks' time. But if you're interested, look at my website, you can see the details and get in touch.